All right, the time is now 7 o'clock and the Zoom is working. We're going to call the June 16th Planning Commission meeting to order, and we're going to start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, I will entertain an approval of the meeting minutes from April 21st.
So moved.
We got a first from Eric, a second from John. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Any announcements? Thank you so much. Any other announcements that aren't already on here? All right, we're going to move on to public comments. George,
Yep.
how are you doing?
Good. I just wanted to, my name's George Borgowski.
Yep, got it.
Okay.
Thanks.
Just yesterday saw a sign at the 4th Street on-ramp to 78. And just since all the discussion, we worked on the ordinances for data centers. There's a sign there, just a small sign that someone laid there, that says proposed 55-acre data center for Hamburg/Tilden. Speak up and be heard, and it has a website. And I just want to, that's all I know. I'm at the website trying to, it's like the website is called trackdatacenters.com. So, and just a little FYI for everybody, since we're all concerned about that. Okay.
Thank you so much, George. Appreciate it. Do you know anything about that?
Nope. But I'm not surprised. It's, these things are going to come at some point. So that's the reason we want to get ahead of it.
Right.
Get something on the books.
All right, Paula. Your turn.
We wanted to question why you request Blue Heron Village to have an HOA in the community. Like, what does it do?
You want me to answer that, or would you like to?
If you want to give it a shot.
So, in Blue Heron, you don't own the land.
Correct.
And there needs to be some kind of governing body of some kind that determines how that's going to be maintained.
Okay.
And the HOA establishes not only how it's going to be taken care of, but what exactly you are taking care of. And that's why we required him to mark the corners so that you know what you're renting and you know what you're maintaining, and then how is it going to be maintained. And the HOA's job is then to also help maintain the roads. We're not responsible for the roads inside there.
Right.
So somebody needs to help pay for that, and that's why the HOA is being established, and that was a requirement for him to get all of those extra lots put in.
Okay, because that's, been Chrisman Lake for,
Right?
I don't know, since the 60s or whatever.
Right.
And there's never been any talk of an HOA, as far as I know,
Sure.
until Mr. Zimmerman took over.
Right.
Which, I totally understand where you're coming from. We'd like to know, since we don't own the land, would we have to join this HOA?
I assume that everyone that lives in that community will have to join
Yes.
the homeowners association and be a part of it.
Even though we don't own the land?
You're using the roads. You live in the properties. Yes. Who's going to cut the common area grass, right?
Ivan Zimmerman.
Well, it should be laid out in the HOA docs.
Okay. Can we see those HOA docs when they're available?
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, to our knowledge, the HOA is not, he didn't finish the documents. I haven't seen
I haven't
anything.
seen them either.
No.
No, I don't think there's such a thing.
No, it's not. I don't think it's completed. I mean, this was supposed to be completed a couple years ago.
Yeah.
And it hasn't been. And I don't think that the pins have been marked and the corners haven't been done. All of that needs to be completed for him, because all those meets and bounds needs to be like outlined.
There was a review letter that was just issued to their professional who's assisting getting through this process on a number of items, a lot of items that they need to address
Right.
before.
It just seems like it's getting kicked down the road. I mean, it's been a long time, and it
So-
just keeps going on and on and on and on and on.
I don't know that any of us were here, none of us were here when this all started, but from my limited time here, the Crispin Lake community has never been fully documented in stone. And so it's always been this ever evolving, lots over here, properties over
Exactly.
here, and it's never, and so Ivan has taken on trying to create some sanity out of the mess. And so to help create some sanity from the insanity, by putting that HOA in place, it helps like define what your roles are, what his roles are as the owner of the entire facility, how it's going to be maintained, who's going to maintain it, so that when there is potentially 180 houses in there, we don't have problems, because, you know, if you guys have issues, you're going to come to these meetings.
Right.
And we don't have control over those roads.
Yeah.
So we
Right.
need to know who does.
Well, hopefully, when the homeowners association docs are created, there'll be a board created, a homeowners association board that controls the community effectively,
Right,
and you go to those meetings.
right, exactly.
Or get
Yeah, I-
yourself put on the board.
Yeah, I understand how an HOA works. I do not want to be in an HOA, but, you know, we have a 99-year lease, so I don't know if we even would have to join that HOA. But again, we would like to see those documents, so who would we come to find out when those documents are going to be created? Or-
You can request them from the township, but you have to file a right to know request and you'll get them.
Okay, through you all here, or,
Mhm.
okay,
Once the HOA is in writing, we'll have a copy of it. In the interim, Ivan's the one that's figuring that out.
Right,
So he
right.
would be the one to contact if he has anything, but I don't know that that's completed at this point.
well, he's not very transparent with us, so it's difficult. But thank you, appreciate it.
All right.
Good.
Anyone else that didn't sign in on the sheet for public comments? All right. Engineers report. Jeremy, anything to add?
We have a couple of things we're going to be talking about, the Priscilla Fowler project here in a few minutes. Just some follow-up on some other items. The Raywell project is being worked on by the consultant. I discussed it with them. A month ago, I had some lingering comments, and they're working through some things there. Blue Heron, it's similar to what we just were talking about that a little bit. The self-storage, I believe they are all caught up on all past due balances. And the last time we were here in April, they still had some to get caught up on. I think they're all caught up. I haven't heard anything negative about what they're doing. When we drive by, it seems like they have that under fairly decent condition as far as dirt leaving the site. And let me see, Worley, Sunoco, I think they're still working to get their site up to compliance after all the work that they did. Without any permits. They disturbed over an acre. And we're working on a mountain road project for the township, coordinating that with staff, trying to get some old files still from the prior engineer and establish where did some of that base mapping data come from? And what do we have to do? Do we have to go do survey again or not? We're trying not to. We're trying to use what they have, but we're having some difficult times getting hold of that information. So that's it.
Thank you, Jeremy. All right, we'll move on to the Priscilla Fowler subdivision. You're up, buddy.
Okay, thank you. When we were here before, we were looking how to get 2 or 3 lots off of Priscilla's property. Priscilla's here with us tonight. We did sewer testing on the lot. We were only able to get two good sites. We're testing for 2 good lots, so we're only proposing the 2 lots. So we are looking at the plan as we had talked about for 2 lots before, we are separating it in a north-south direction. This is contrary to the letter that you received from the Berks County Planning Commission, but it is in keeping with what we talked about the last time. We think it is better to separate the property in the north-south direction than it is in the east-west direction because of the way the Strausser Creek runs through the property and subdivided it that way. And the other thing that we are doing a little bit differently than normal and was discussed at the last meeting is that we are going to use the existing driveway as a common entrance point for both lots. So they're the same. Other than that, we just got Jeremy's review letter this evening. I went through it quickly. Generally, I think we're in conformity with the items that are in that letter. I think we'll agree with them. And we did talk about the procedure of how to proceed with the project. We do, because it's being in the agricultural preservation zone, we are going to have to go to the zoning hearing board for a special exception use. I got to discuss that with Ryan and schedule the zoning hearing for a special exception.
Yeah, I wanted to make one note, sorry to cut you off, but
Go ahead.
I had made an error and I didn't get this letter. I had the letter submitted, but I forgot to copy him on June 1st when it went out, so
Okay.
I handed him the letter just now. So my apologies. I'm
Yeah,
getting to you.
we would have tried to address a lot of the items and went through the items with him before time, but, you know, we just saw it this evening, so that's the only reason why we didn't do those items. Generally, the word number of waivers that we had asked for, there was something that we weren't sure if we ended up needing or not. We can discuss those if you want to discuss them this evening, but we do have to go to the zoning hearing board to get the special exception. We will be back in front of you with these items cleaned up in, you know, in Jeremy's letter. And anything else that comes up with the discussion that we have with Ryan or any other provisions that the zoning hearing board puts on the plans. Do you think we should go through these waivers one at a time, or do you want to go through the waivers that you have to go through in your letter, Jeremy? How do you want to handle those?
It's up to the planning commission. I'm fine either way.
Are you comfortable with the waivers that he's gonna need?
You know, maybe we should go through your letter. Just, excuse me, I'm having problems with my knees, so if you don't mind, I'll sit back down.
Yeah, go ahead.
And let,
Yeah, we'll go through. We can go through, let's go item by item and then
yeah.
I'll weigh in.
You want to go use your letter or? for the one-
Use your waiver letter.
Okay, the first thing I had in my waiver letter, that required, section 402.3B4 required that trees in caliber of excess of 15 inches be individual surveyed, you know, which was a minor subdivision, and we weren't gonna be doing any new construction or anything with this plan. So we were requesting a waiver of, those trees are primarily trees down around the Strausser Creek, and we weren't gonna be doing any work down in that area anyway, because that is the floodplain area. We're not allowed to do any construction in that area. So we were asking for a waiver of that.
Yeah, I have no issue with that request at all.
The second item was 402.3.C.1 delineation of greenway lands. Again, we weren't doing any construction or anything. It was a preliminary plan. It was minor subdivision, minor in nature. We weren't doing any construction with the plans. We were asking for a waiver of doing a greenway land delineation plan.
I have no issue with this either. I did point out in my review letter, I'm not sure this is actually needed, but to err on the side of caution for him to request it, I have no issue with the waiver request.
402.3.D, preliminary resource impact conservation plan. And this deals with a couple of the items here. We did provide an aerial plan in the package, and we think that satisfies the requirements of that. So we requested that either that satisfies that requirement or we get a waiver. Same thing with the 402.3.E with preliminary improvements plan. You know, there was no improvements proposed at this time, so we're asking for a waiver of that.
both those items are similar. I don't know that he actually needs one, but to err on the side of caution, he's asking a waiver. We don't have any issue with the request.
Those were the items that we had listed in the waiver letter. And I think you had one or two other items here.
You have 402.3A, site analysis and context plan, all natural man-made features within 1,000 feet of the site. The plan that was presented doesn't quite have that. I left it up to the applicant if they want to revise the plan to go to 1,000 feet. I understand where a requirement like this comes from, but there's no proposed improvements on this site. If they were to ask a waiver, we would support that waiver. Again, it was section 402.3A. Or they could revise the plan and show 1,000 feet beyond the subject tract, but that is at their discretion. Similarly, the key map, the ordinance requires the key map to be drawn at a scale of 1 inch equals 800. This is a common requirement in a lot of townships, though it's a little bit older. They show the key map at 1 inch equals 1,000 feet. We have no objection to a waiver request if they want to make one, or they can revise their site map.
We'll look at it. If it's easy to make the change, we'll comply with the ordinance.
So are you not requesting those 2 additional waivers that he just referenced?
I think we'll make the changes to make it comply with the
All right,
ordinance.
so it's, you're just making the request based off your waiver letter?
Yes.
Okay.
All right. And again, you have no
I have
no issue with
objection.
any of those?
No.
Okay. So, planning commission members, if you're so inclined to grant to recommend to the board of supervisors that they grant those waivers, you can vote on it now.
Motion to grant the waivers?
I'll make the motion.
Kevin and John, all in favor? The other one left.
Okay.
All right, excellent.
Good, so we'll be back then after we get the special exception.
Sounds good.
And
Thank you.
then just a housekeeping item, you are requesting an
Extension
extension,
time.
a 90-day extension of time.
We verbally request that tonight. We'll provide an extension.
All right, perfect. And you have his email now for whatever else in the future?
Yeah.
And just, someone can make a motion to
Grant the extension.
grant the extension or recommend to the supervisors that they grant the extension.
Motion to recommend extension, Kevin and John, all in favor? All right,
Thank you
good
very
deal.
much.
Thank you so much. All right, old business, the draft ordinance for data centers, fun stuff.
For some of you.
Are you gonna read through this line by
No,
line?
I am not. So everyone should have a couple of things. A copy of the county planning commission review letter based off our last draft, which I had modified a couple of times. And then you should also have a copy of the previous ordinance with my red line changes to address some of the comments that were in the county planning letter. And those would be in red. And you can see, one of the comments from county planning was that we have verbiage regarding the decommissioning plan. It was already there. It's on page 4, number 8, that deals with the decommissioning of the site. I just added some language to make it clear this section deals with decommissioning. I added, if you look on page 5, they wanted some verbiage regarding battery storage systems on the site. I added some verbiage to that effect in number 11, and also added a requirement that any submission to the supervisors, along with their conditional use application, you submit an emergency response plan to show us, what the plan is if there's a problem at the site. So I included that. Number 13 on page 6, one of their comments was that they'd like to have us try to get a developer to put renewable energy somewhere on the site. And we had something to that effect already, but you can see number 13, I just changed some of the verbiage. It used to be the data center shall consider the inclusion of electric charging stations, solar panels, wind turbines. I changed that. Data center shall include them. Figure it out. You're going to include them to the satisfaction of the Board of Supervisors. So that was a change that I made. There's a couple other comments, but I tried to generally address, most of their, what I believe were their issues.
Is this
And
something
look, and
is this
I-
something you're trying to move on today? or
What
that we
I'm
can digest
asking,
this?
what I'm asking for tonight is a vote recommending the supervisors send this, set a date for a public hearing and advertise it for a public hearing. Look, my position is this. You heard George tonight. These things are on their way. I want to get something on the books. I don't want to let perfect be the enemy of the good. So I'd like to get this on the books. If we want to go back and look at it at a later date and add more stuff, we can. There's nothing that prevents us from doing it, but I want to get something on the books.
How long does it take us to edit this?
How long does it take me to edit it?
If we decide that we're gonna move forward with this one as is, and then we wanna change something moving forward, like how many months does that take?
Depends how big the change is, but if it's relatively minor, it's adding a couple paragraphs or what have you. We make the change, we send it off to county planning, they get us their comments within 30 days, we schedule a hearing. Sort of the same process, probably a 3-month process.
Okay. Anybody willing to make a motion to recommend this get sent to Berks County? Is that-
No, it already went to Berks County. What I'm asking for is a recommendation that the supervisors advertise this present draft, subject to any further comments,
Sure.
Cleanup items,
Okay.
for a public hearing.
Don't we recommend this draft to the supervisors?
Yes,
And they then in turn will,
yep.
They have to
public hearing.
Yep, they have to advertise this ordinance, and we have to hold a public hearing to take public comment on this ordinance. And then they have to vote on whether or not they want to adopt that ordinance at a meeting thereafter.
So our motion doesn't have to discuss the public hearing, is that correct?
The motion would be to authorize the recommendation to the supervisors to vote on advertising this ordinance for the public hearing, to hold the public hearing. And adoption thereafter.
Okay. So moved.
There's a first, and a second, and a third. So all in favor?
And look, guys, this is new. This is new to all of us. I imagine we will make some tweaks, changes to this in the future, but I want to get something on the books because we currently have nothing.
Cool. Any other old business? What's happening with the concrete plant and that property in general that was on old business like for ever and now it's not?
I don't have anything new to add on that. I think that was Mr. Wessner primarily who was handling that. All right.
I'll put on Ryan's plate. I don't know if it was here when we were here, if it was on before. I remember being on the other side of the table when it was being discussed.
Yeah.
I don't know, I haven't heard anything about it.
Yeah, neither have I.
If only Jerry was here. All right, so I guess if you can ask Ryan what's going on, it'd be interesting to know like what the update is there. And Josh, over on Mountain Road.
Mhm.
He was doing he bought the property from the state, and they were like merging two properties together. That also was on here forever. He was trying to get a hold of people, couldn't talk to anybody, and I don't know that that was ever finalized.
I did hear about that, but that's what I heard. That's a little bit of what I heard.
I have his phone number if you need it.
Okay.
And there was something else. What else was on here that's disappeared?
Those two. I can think of.
Okay. Doesn't look there's any new business. Any other planning commission concerns?
No.
If we had any updates on what's happening with this the state school, my understanding was they were officially shutting the heat off and it was staying off now. So like that tells me that they're abandoning ship to some level.
I don't have any update. No.
Okay.
Nothing's been submitted to us at this point.
So no plans in the future currently. Any other public comments or comments from you guys? All right, well, I will entertain a motion to adjourn then.
So moved.
I got a first and a second. Thank you guys for coming out. Happy 250th anniversary, America, you know, till the next time we see you.
We made it.